All right, everybody, Hefe here. I am hopping on stream this morning just to go through a few things related to Chalons. Now that we've got the matchups out, everybody's trying to figure out who they're playing, what their matchup looks like, all the things you can win in Chalons, all the things. We're just going to go through a little bit of that and take a look at this new keep as well in the meantime. Otherwise known as Mr. Big here on 176. I'm playing over here, just a little bit more action in battlefields, and I'm still got my keep over on 162. Once a hoe, always a hoe. So I won't be doing anything other than watching that and bubbling that. But for now, I'm having some fun playing over here on 176. So I'm gonna continue to do that and build up this keep. A really nice keep I got going here. Been sort of working on it over the last 8 weeks. And yes, I do love Mr. Mime. How you doing there? I love all you HMBers, but especially Mr. Mime, obviously. Who can't love Mr. Mime? All right, so let's hop in here a little bit. Battle of Chalons. Looks like we are matched up. We are the biggest one in this grouping, as you know. Some of these matchups don't really make a lot of sense. Some of them do. This one in particular, not too bad, but you've got a couple of alliances that are pretty small, under the 100 billion mark, up against a couple of alliances in the 300s, close to 400 there for HMB. It's a tough matchup for some of those smaller ones, but it is what they do. I think they try to shake it out, so eventually, as you move forward, you're starting to match up with similar size alliances. So it's just how they do it. I know we all complain about it. I think the biggest thing that people complain about is typically you don't have enough points available for your team, because a lot of that rankings, it's not just the win, but it's also that ranking within the win, which comes down at the end to see who advances into the major, the major finals with the top 16. So, everybody's wanting to score as many points as they can. So we always look at this and say, ugh, how many points can we actually get out of those 70, 99 billion alliances? Well, let's hope they do a lot of healing, and we can advance just from winning and getting extra points. So a good matchup here, I would say overall. We're going to make the best of it. Since I've been playing over here on HMB, we've been really, really gelling together in the battlefields. I don't think we've lost BOC I think we've lost a couple of BOGs. Usually numbers are a little bit down in those, but yeah, we're hoping to. Oh, there's the good girl. She's having coffee. Welcome, another HMB, the queen of the server. So appreciate you listening in too. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna go through this a little bit. We're pretty excited about our chances. We'll look at where we're ranked right now, and as you know, those rankings are. I mean, they do tell you a little bit of something, but at the same time, it's again, matchups, wins, losses. Does BOC really translate into Chalons and Chalons finals, continents, out of continent fights? There's all those factors that play into it. So you can brag all you want about how we're ranked, who's not ranked, and where they're placed right now. But the key is everybody got qualified, and now as you go into the actual challenge matchups, it's kind of where the rubber hits the road, and we'll see who's top 16 at the end. But as always, we're gonna go for it. We the team, we're hanging and banging and just slinging and flinging. So let's take a look here, though. We'll look at the actual what we're fighting for here. So top 100 is going to receive this new Alliance City. It's nice to have certainly some additional buffs that you get that applies to everybody that's inside the hive. So good stuff there. Not game changing, but it does help. It all does help. So we'll take it. Then this city, this is always the controversy. How important is this sub-city? Do we really want to go for it? Do you want to spend all those heals? Do you want to, spend all those resources building troops? Do you want to apply all your things to increase your generals. Is this the time that you want to really go for it? Well, I would say that, yeah, this is a nice sub. I think one of the things you'll see here, attacking troops attack overall plus 15. Obviously a nice bonus, but you know the word attacking. So obviously in rallies and doing your attacks, solos and such, you're going to actually get that buff. But if you're, well, actually not in rallies, you're not going to actually get that buff. But so if you're doing solos and you're the guy on the keep, or the guy on the alliance that's doing a lot of the big solos, certainly this is going to add to those buffs as you knock out those, get those big clears. But generally, you know, this buff is really only applied to that person that's doing solos. So I don't know that it's as good as a, you know, say a gold Jap, or if you're on defense and you're doing a gold Russians. You know, certainly I don't think it stacks up to that quality. But then you also add this attacking ranged troop and siege machine to HP plus 10. Always nice to have additional HP, especially on those siege units. Very hard to debuff, so yeah, that's also a nice thing. Now, trap building speed. I can't tell you how long I've been waiting for trap building speed. I mean, it's just, oof, I don't know how you, how long I've waited for trap building speed. This is really gonna be a game changer for everybody that wins this sub. So obviously, I'm joking. Not even sure why you add that in. I'm not sure Evony understands that traps aren't really a thing, but it is what it is. And then, of course, death into survival rate in sub-city, 20%. Again, not a big deal. All those sub-troops are usually dying within battlefields. And if they aren't, you're not hanging and banging enough. So not a huge deal either. So I would say overall, I'd give this a C on a sub level. Now, that said, it's not always about what we're going to win and what we're going to get. Some of it's just about playing and going for these things. So we'll see what we're going to do as HMB as a group. We kind of typically apply what we're going to do as a group. We're not going to, generally do stuff together. We're not going to few people aren't just going to spend all their stuff and do all their healing when nobody else is. So we'll figure that out. It should apply to rallying. You think so? I don't know. Does it? Attacking? I don't think generally you get buffs from a sub when you're attacking in a rally, but I could be wrong. But maybe. We'd have to test it. So let's win it and we'll test it for you. But let's take a look at that. Obviously you get these other pretty things as well. You get yourself a nice blazing ambition, the old epic blazing ambition avatar frame. The all important pretty things that go outside your keeps. So the peacocks, the dragons, the lotus flower, as well as the cool fox. So yeah, I mean those things they're fun to have, but most alliances already have those. So you're not really fighting for, I would say, a whole lot here. This is really about just playing and having a good time. So we're going to look forward to that. Total ranking rewards. You can see the breakdown here. Major leagues gets that sub-city. Juniors and elite do not. And then, of course, it's going to determine based on, in the finals, how you've ranked as a group and your total scores. So you can all read through this. Everybody is... Everybody's free to read through this. I won't bore you with all the details here. But basic thing is here, those top ranking players are going to actually earn that sub-city. And again, 6 through 9 here earning a Japanese sub as well. That's not a bad thing either, a gold sub. So you can do that all the way down through, I believe it's, I think it's top 50, if I'm remembering. Optional chest, so that one actually is not going to give you one, but this is the here's the gold one. So top 50 gets a gold, 35 to 50 gets that gold sub that you'll be able to select whatever type you want, whether that's an optional chest here, so you can actually select whatever type of gold you want. Now, some people might not even, surprisingly enough, might not select a Jap or a Russian. You may be working on getting additional pieces to upgrade your internal city, so you might want to select another one that allows you to turn it into pieces and select whatever one you want to do for your upgrades. So nice to have, and maybe for some more important than actually winning that cultural subsidy. So. All right, so that is Chalons hanging and banging. Let's take a look. We're going to just take a look where we ranked this season. As I said before, it is what it is. The rankings are fun and nice to look at, but at the end of the day, you gotta play and win. So season rankings: RSP at the top, Game of Thrones, one hot ace, Neff, HMB at number 8, unbelievable. I'm pretty sure this is the highest that they've ever ranked. I believe in BOC. And a lot of that, honestly, I don't know how many of you know Duke Chris here. This account, I mean, all I have to say is he knows how to build an account, guys. Not the biggest keep around power-wise, but as you can see here, this last week in the last round here, he finished first overall. I believe he finished second for the season. Yeah. Duke Chris rocking it last season. Overall score of 510K. So you do the math on that. That's over 125K average for each of his BOC matches, which is insane. A one-man wrecking ball here. The keep is very, very powerful. Only a K44, but not even K45. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as he gets K45 and that MA10 opened up. I do know for a fact he's gotten quite a bit of MA9 done, but still room to grow there on the buffs. So looking for Chris to continue to shine in this Chalons here coming up. So pretty excited to watch that keep roll. But so typically you'll see him top of our ranks every time. But obviously a lot of supporting players as well. We got Mimer running all those rallies. Mr. Muff slowly joining rallies. Good girl, always scoring high score, never always the first one in those rallies. So yeah, we just have a real solid team, really good dedicated players that show up week after week. So pretty excited to play the Chalons with these guys. So yeah, so that's kind of an overall review there of what Chalons is looking like. Some of the things I wanted to go through today, I wanted to look at as my own prep work. We're going to go through some of the generals. I'm going to go through the Frigg general today and kind of compare that to Salt. It looks like to me like it probably is a good matchup for the general I'm using, Sven. I like to call him Sven. The Forkbeard guy. He's Suchet's obviously a really good assistant general. I did some of the math, and I believe in my mind that this new Frigg general is actually better than Suchet, and I'm kind of going to go through. One of the main things is the overall stats once the Covenant is done on the new general are a little bit better. Now, you can say they're better in certain situations, which I agree with. There's some only that apply to rallies, and some only that apply to attacking. And so you got to look at those details a little bit, but overall it's probably an equivalent on the buff size. But the main thing with the new general is you get 8 additional size in your march size, so which is huge for ground gens. We're all looking for those big clears. So anything you can do to get additional march size in your ground setup, the better for those ground clears at the end. So let's take a look at her right now, actually. I'm just going to go into recruiting. And actually, you know what? I can... Let's check her out here. I popped her open today. I was going to work on moving her up. I think I got her today. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. So basically, I'm going to get her up to level 45. Or sorry, level 25. Can't remember how many I need. So we can take a look at her. That'll be enough. That's fine. All right. So we've got her up. We've moved her up. We can take a look at her covenant. Theodore, I believe. Yeah, Theodore. I think I have her in some pieces, so we can go through and maybe create that covenant general. I just gotta find her. So yeah, we're gonna kind of do this today, just kind of run it around. I'm gonna probably set some bosses here as well. I know Mr. Muff likes to remind me that the pans are out and we need to keep running them. So I will try to do that as I'm bombing around. So just a little bit of a free-for-all. If you got questions or you want to join chat, certainly we can go through it, look at some other things as well. There she is. Let's just get one of her. Where'd she go? All right, so now we should have the Covenant Generals that we need to have full Covenant on her as well. Now that said, I don't have any Covenant stones to actually move her up in her Covenant, but yeah, so there we go. So we've got all our full Covenant here. We've got to obviously work on the stats to be able to get these all opened up to be able to apply them. But as you can see, I've got enough for a couple of Covenants, and I do have other generals I'm going to apply these to. So I won't apply them, but just take a looking at these buffs here. Ground Troop HP certainly is going to apply that second Covenant. Training, big deal. In rally, ground troop defense 10%. March speed is obviously a big one. Just overall, that's a buff that's gonna be able to apply across all. As you can see, that takes effect unconditionally. So that means once you get that Covenant, it's not just when using this general. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that bonus. So March speed and then the ground training speed. Or ground troops training speed is going to be applied overall, not just on this general. And then that march size capacity I was talking about. So the Covenant is the one that adds the 8%. It doesn't have anything to do with the specs or the base skills. So you don't have to worry about skill books and other things interfering. And then obviously that ground troop attack and ground troop defense when you're using this general as your assistant or as a main, you're going to get those buffs. So those buffs do apply. But again, I was talking overall Covenant, fully spec'd. Obviously, none of the additional stars will apply. So just the 5. You don't even need to 5-star them. Other than you want to get additional power numbers, which I think people debate on that. Obviously, we're going to do the specs. I think I got enough to do her, but I'm going to wait on that. And then we'll look at the books that we can apply. Obviously, we can go through and make her an equivalent to what Sushit was. So let's go back, actually. And that horn, I mean, how can't you not use her with that horn? I mean, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, you can see her skill here, increasing ground troop attack by 45% and ground troop defense and HP by 35. I mean, that's a huge jump. We don't care about the ascensions when we're using her as an assistant, so we'll leave it at that. I believe that Salt is 35, 15, 15. So a big jump, obviously in HP and defense, but as well as increase in the overall attack stat as well. The one thing I was looking at initially was, and actually let's go to it's easier to see when you're looking at these generals sometimes when we're recruiting in the patrol here. She's in other. Yeah. So one of the things that initially I was looking at was, her second skill, in a lot of cases, this is going to be plus 10 to attack. And the debuff is nice. Some argue that it's, it's an equivalent of adding plus 10 because you're taking plus 10. I don't always look at it that way. I look at those pure stats as a comparison overall, just because you can get that minus ground troop attack or enemy attack other ways. So I typically look when I'm comparing the individual gens, one for one. Then she does have the three stack of the ground stats there. And then again, high defense, high HP adds, as well as some additional attack adds for ground. So still a very good overall. But again, pushing it over the top, I believe, is that Covenant. And overall, really an even match. If you're not able to max your Covenant, you may not want to worry about switching. It may be a longer-term plan for you to switch, because I think the real advantage is that March size that you get from the Covenant. So not a huge upgrade from Salt, but again, every little bit helps. So if you're looking to upgrade and make a change, a very good option. I won't go through all the other generals. I'm just gonna kind of go through how it applied to my generals. But obviously, you'd have to compare depending on who you're using to see if I'm guessing she works with Elise and whoever Salt worked with, I would assume. So if you're currently working on him or using him or Sushit, that's old. Yeah. Sushit. All right, so that is the Frigg general. I will work on her and probably incorporate her and start to get her leveled up when we get into the next battlefield. So we're gonna take a look at that coming up. Another thing I started to look at recently, spirit beasts. So, I would say you get as many as you can. You're adding them to sub-generals. In some cases, you're using them on generals to get stats that are applied only when you have a Spirit Beast or Dragon. Lots of reasons to get additional ones. But I think overall, their real value comes within the Spirit Beast seals, as well as putting them on sub-generals to get those additional buffs. So one thing I always contemplate on here is, when you're looking at Spirit Beasts, you're looking at the different reagents that you've got, things that are available to you. These blue crystals, and then obviously gems are needed to actually do work on each of these seals. Some people go through and just willy-nilly click on these things and, move them up. Like that one had a 1 on it. I didn't do that. Some of these are just, seemingly just clicking. People are clicking on these. I typically will go through all of these and try to take a look at the best value, best bang for your buck as you're going through it. Just a quick overview on seals and looking at how do I apply these and what do I want to prioritize. What you'll see on each of the Spirit Beasts is these 3 levels, or these 3 things that are locked down on the bottom. Let's look at actually one that I've got opened. Yeah, this one. Actually, I think I have one a little higher. 80 or 85% on the Fox here. So the way these things level up, as you get your seal attributes leveled up, so you can see there I've got 20 of 20, 20 of 20, 5 of 20, 20 of 20, and 20 of 20. So what that's actually doing is adding to your the level 85 out of 100 up here in the top, and ideally you'd get it maxed. But in like my case here, not only maxing it, but being able to get these additional buffs, you also have to have the pasture raised. I've got my current pasture is at 38. So you can see here, pasture reaches level 37. You can get that buff, as well as obviously the level like I was talking about. So given mine's 85 and my pasture is 38, I'm able to get this second buff as well at the 3rd star level. But you'll notice here I'm not getting the 3rd star level of the 3rd one here, and that is due only to the pasture reaching 39. So some would argue I could just go and move up that pasture and get it up to currently, I'm K44, so I can get that pasture all the way up to 44 if I want, and get these final buffs. But you can see what really that is. So in this case, it's HP plus 10, HP plus 10 for in-city. Nice to have. I won't say that, but again, when you're looking at priorities and how to use your resources, I'm prioritizing other things like keep pushing, getting your MA building up so you can do more research, getting your rally spot up so you can do additional size on your marches. So there's other priorities. Even you look at the one I'm going to consider doing next is my the victory column here, trying to get that up as well to try to get these additional buffs in Battlefield, which is nice. Also the construction research bonus and march time reduction as well. And the real reason I want to do that is actually to move up my Senate. I needed to get victory column 9 to get my Senate up to level 29, which would then open up an additional Senate general that I could add there, which again adds additional buffs. So anyway, back to Spirit Beast. So prioritizing the way you spend your resources within your building upgrades. In this particular case, it's pasture. Pasture is the thing that's required. I'm just not willing to spend the resources to get additional 20% is basically what that comes down to. But that said, looking at all these individual ones, I think you as a player have to decide what's most important to you. Are you a trap keep? Are you a rally setter? Are you a building taker in battlefields? Are you a solo, person in SVS? What's sort of your first priority, second priority, third priority? Because all of these buffs that you see here are really determined by other things. Most of these are all in city, and you'll see that throughout these spirit beasts. Some of them, like there, you see defending. And really what you have to do is, for your own personal growth, what you want to apply those to, you want to look at what are these really looking at? What are the, these are in city again. So each spirit beast has different buffs that they're going to apply, whether they're in city, and then the troop type as well. This one's, ground for the first one. Ranged, in city ranged defense. In city ranged attack. So again, you really need to study these and find out what's important to you. The reason that I moved up the Fox so high initially was mostly due to these seal attributes. In city siege HP, obviously a big thing for taking hits. You want a high siege HP because it's hard to debuff. Mounted troop defense, wasn't a huge thing, but that march speed was a nice bonus as well. Since I do a lot of bosses, that was one I pushed. Marching ground troop HP, obviously big on hits, as well as all troop load. When you're clearing somebody for their resources, you can get a lot of resources as well. Marching range troop attack, a highly used attack type when you're in battlefields or even in SVS. So obviously you want a high range troop attack. And then again, marching siege HP, very important skill or set of stats for for siege. So you can see obviously that this one is my highest. I won't necessarily use my seals right now to push this ground HP. It'll be nice to have at some point. But again, as I move my pasture up, I'm already further ahead than I need to be for pasture or for the level to be able to get those additional buffs if I want to do that. So this one I'm probably going to leave sit for a little bit. Pegasus. Yeah, so you can see here I got a number of these seals, number of these that are leveled up quite high. Some of the newer ones I need to look at a little bit closer. But again, you need to go through these all on an individual basis. I typically focus on more of the attacking ones, whether that's HP for siege, attack for siege. And again, I'll even try to go for HP sometimes more often than the attack stat, only because of the debuff. If I can allow those siege to last longer in the battle, they can get more kills and kill more things that maybe from a defense standpoint as well. So you can kind of see got a lot of different things going on here, but I'm not going to profess to tell you what the right thing to do here is for your buffs and what you should prioritize. But just know that these reagents or these different resource things that you use to upgrade are not infinite. So use them wisely. Take your time. And now is the time really going into Chalons or going into All-Stars. Those are the times when I really focus on using the things I've been hoarding. Because I do think hoarding is a required thing to actually progress on some of these things. Now let's look at the Senate a little bit. A Senate is another one that, the more things you do, especially these last three here, leading senator, the ruling senator, and the honorary senator, all those are applying to your battlefields, whether that's BOG, BOC, and how you've ranked when you won, how many points you've scored. You can open up additional Senate spots. And then also the obvious three in the beginning there are really about like I was saying earlier, that level. So I need to get this council state level 28 in order to open this one up. So literally that one's just based on the level of your Senate. So the higher your victory column, the higher you go in your keep, allows you to open up those Senate spots. And I believe the last one's Senate 30, which I don't think I can get that until I'm K45. So that one won't be happening anytime soon to get that additional siege one. But I have opened all these other ones, and as you apply, as you switch out generals and you've moved generals around, this is typically where you want to, put them. Because obviously as you get 10-star generals, you're going to open up additional buffs. One of the things I wanted to go over, though, here today, I think a lot of people overlook these positional, upgrading the positional level. So they're purely focused on this promotion level, which I think is really good. But I think you got to be careful because there are some of these individual buffs that you can use. Again, very similar to what you're doing on the Spirit Beast seals. You don't want to just willy-nilly click things because these twigs, these glory twigs, are used to promote this overall. But they're also used as part of, I can't look at the mastered one. They're also used as part of, not that one. Hang on. Yeah. You want to look at these as well. So these merit as well as these glory twigs. So the glory twigs are also used for upgrading these individual ones, which are huge. Again, these are all individual buffs. This one particular, marching, mounted troop defense. It's just something you want to work on, but it's not necessarily something that you need to work on unless you want to upgrade the level of that or promote the level of that that particular Senate spot. Because you can see here, I've got 18, 19, 20 of 18, 30 of 0. So I haven't had to do anything for to upgrade this particular governor. But you'll notice, why did I do that? Well, it's in city ranged troop and siege machine HP. Huge stat, huge to be able to apply. So that's just applying to your base, and then as you level it up to 30, you get all these additional stats. So it's very important, depending on your keep, depending on your style of play, to actually review these things before just clicking. You don't want to use all these up. I'm telling you, you'll wish you had them later when you find one that you really needed to work on. And so you see all these, I've worked on those individual ones and gotten them past. Again, here, that siege one, 16 of 0. Don't need to do any of those siege ones. But again, marching, siege, machine, defense. I really like to have a good siege. How many sieges do you do in your battlefields? We do a ton. So just a really important one to actually work on. And so here's an example. This last one here, haven't done a lot with it. But again, in rally ground troop HP, it's good to have. Not a priority for me based on where all the other ones are at. Defending mounted troop attack. In rally siege or ranged HP, yeah, not really a high priority. Now, in rally siege machine attack is a high priority for me, so I'll be working on this one as well. But you know, just because I got 7,000 of those doesn't mean I'm just going to start clicking, right? I don't want to just start clicking on things that I'm not sure there isn't something better I should be using them on. So that's the individual ones. So like I said, these individual stats I think are very important to look at. But you're going to also slow down your overall promotion of that slot or of that Senate position. So again, you're getting these additional ones. You'll see I've got this one up to 4. I am pushing to get this one to 5 to get that attacking troop attack plus 15 and attacking range troop and siege machine HP plus 20, marching siege machine attack plus 15. That to me is a very important one to do for this initial governor one. Beyond that, it gets very expensive, and you might look at, say, upgrading your other leveled ones. So these other promotional ones. Again, you have to look at what are those stats. So to get this one to level 4, I'm getting additional in-city mounted troop defense, in-city troop HP, marching ground troop attack. So again, if you're the guy that's doing or the girl that's doing all the clears, the ground clears, you might want that additional ground troop attack, and it might be a priority for you. It isn't for me right now. I got Duke of Chris doing all those, so I don't need to worry about those at this point. Certainly like to do them, but again, in-city troop HP, in-city troop defense, these are all, in-city based things. So if you're a trap keep, you may be looking at upgrading your marshal overall. But again, these glory golden twigs are used not only on here, but also as you're upgrading these other stats. So use your stuff wisely. Don't just click. That's all I can say. It is a lot of analysis, but I think you'll be happy in the long run if you actually hoard these things and look at spending them sparingly, and looking at spending them when you're only doing major things like Chalons or All-Stars. But you can see here this upgrade position level. This is why I'm doing it. You want to get all these base stats up. Some of these newer ones that I've gotten since joining more battlefields with HMB, I'll be looking at upgrading these going into Chalons to make even a bigger push for buffs for things I need. But so we'll look at doing that at some point. But I kind of wanted to go over that. I've just gotten a lot of questions about it and how to use them. It's up to the individual, and all I can say is hoard as you can. And only spend sparingly. Try not to just get excited about and get focused on one thing without looking at overall what other things you might be missing out on if you start using those reagents. And for instance here, and I'll just stop talking about these. I'm getting kind of droning on and on. But you see that siege one at the bottom is mastered. It's a twofer, right? I mean, you can argue that range troop HP isn't that important. Sure. Now, when I get it plus 60, I think that's a pretty big jump in your stats. So I think it's important. The reason I did it was for siege HP. So, but since it was a twofer, let's, maybe that gives you a little bit more priority than other things. So, yeah, take a look at all those. You may not have as many open right now, but again, you could, as your team starts getting wins and you start getting points in your battlefields, you're going to have additional slots to open up and make choices on. So, you might not want to just spend away. Look to the future a little bit more, and try not to waste things, because you'll wish you had them later. I've been in that situation a number of times. Got a question on stream about buffs. Yeah, buffs. That's a good question. The way I like to answer what are my buffs like right now, they're the best they can be right now with what I've spent. What I've spent, you could argue cash too, but I'm just saying what I've actually applied. You saw a lot of things I could be doing there to add additional buffs. But I would say I'm in the range of I think like 3,200 probably on my attacks. In city, I don't know if I've got any good reports. A lot of these are set by Chris or Mime, so I think I did save one. Yeah, this is before some changes, but we did a cav 3368 on my attack. That's in rally. Obviously, we did a rally in the SVS. So yeah, depends on if I'm in a rally or doing solos. I think here was another rally we did. Well, that's not. That was a solo one. Yeah, 32, 36. I think that's even better now. And hoping to improve that with this new general as well. But yeah, so I'm sub 35, I would say overall. I think my siege, if I remember, is a little better, but yeah, I think these are old. That's really old. So yeah, I would say that it's in the 35s. Yeah. Yeah, Mime's right. Yeah, Mime looks at those things a little closer sometimes than I do, because he wants to know. He's smart about those things. But yeah, I think you'll see in rally and solo, obviously those numbers are going to depend a lot on the subs. I have gotten a few new subs. Got a few of the cultural subs as well as the special subs as well. I did get the last sub. I also did a little bit of a spend. Some would argue maybe too much. Some would argue it was very valuable. I think it's the latter. I was able to get first place in the event, could get this Mystic Mirage Castle fully awakened. And the real advantage here, not only is it a really nice keep to use because of the siege and range buffs, but the real kicker here is to be able to use this for this 20-minute buff is huge. This one, as you're sitting in your hive and you're rallying, you pop this and you're able to give everyone plus 40% when attacking on your ranged troop and siege machine, attack, defense, and HP. So all those buffs going up by 40% is huge. We also, I've also got this keep to level 2. This one was here before I got here. This is plus 40% HP again to all your troop types, whether that's defending or attacking. So yeah, some huge buffs for the team, and that's really why I did it. As you know, past and in current, I'm a team player overall, so I'm doing a lot of these things just to help everyone out. and especially since I'm not the biggest keep and the strongest keep in this alliance, Duke of Chris is filling that role, and he's going to continue to do that. I'm going to help out the team with some of these buffs, help everybody be stronger. So that was kind of the approach here, but a really cool looking keep as well. And that pretty nameplate with those birds. I mean, come on, who couldn't like that? And it's pink. So yeah, pretty excited to be on this squad. You can see Duke of Chris sitting there next to me, rolling a couple of K44s, Pro and Good Girl, and Geo and Zark. Zark also has a really nice buff keep there. You see that? He's actually got the 3rd level keep. So we're rolling the 2 HP buff keeps. So for 40 minutes, we're getting a buff to everyone's HP. That's huge for our battlefields. People are moving up. We've got a number of people that have got builds that are in process that they're going to complete. But yeah, we're growing. We're growing as our keep levels. We're working on generals. And again, such a team-oriented team. We got a lot of people that join battlefields and they're professional portal takers, flippers. Huge, as you know, getting port locked in the battlefield. So we do that quite a bit. Mr. J there. Mr. J is working on that K39 when he can, joining battlefields. Hilarious guy if you've ever been on our stream. A laugh a minute with that guy. So yeah, I'm a little slow. Wait. Yeah, I got my head down, guys. Here. I mean, I can't be. Yeah. I don't have a good defensive. So I literally just finished K45 and MA9 going into the last battlefield. I didn't get any. They didn't rally me at all, so I didn't get any defensive buffs. But I'm curious to see what those are. I'm sure we'll figure that out this weekend. I'm sure I'll get hit. But yeah, very, very good buffs on this keep. Let's see, I did do some. I was doing some pans. I'm sure Muff's upset at me that I don't. Oh, did it switch? I bookmarked a bunch and was doing them, but did pans switch already? Anyone? Tell me, please. I think they switched. I'm sure Muff's yelling at me in some chat somewhere to get rolling. Bosses. Anybody tell me if the pan switched? I can't remember when the pan switched the second time. Yep, they switched. Alright, so we'll have to go find some new pans. All these great pans that I bookmarked and was about to run, I can't, so we'll find them later. Usually people are pretty good about sharing them here. Yeah, we can take a look at my gens and gear setup. Happy to show you that. I think that's one of the advantages of this keep over my Hefe keep. This definitely has a more Civ gear sets. So you can look at the equipment. And in a lot of cases, you want to. Let's just talk about Civ gear for a second. So when Civ gear came out, there was a certain number of sets, and they stopped releasing it, and then they started releasing tons more. Well, they basically stopped now. So in the case of you've got an individual set for one general, I would say you need 5 sets, right? You need an in-city set for your siege gen, or your wall gen, and then you also need the 4 attack types or defense types if you want to consider them in buildings. But basically you need 5 different sets. Well, as you progress on, more sets are coming out, you're getting more gear, you're going to have that backup set that you're using for raining. You might have multiple siege gens to set multiple siege rallies, depending on the size of your alliance and number of troops you've got. So there's a lot of reasons to have more than one set. But in some cases, you're just buying the set or actually opening the set instead of creating pieces to upgrade other pieces because you want to get the actual own full set bonus. So in this case, it's rally capacity. March size capacity, very good. This is another really good set to own. March size capacity applying to all different march types, right? So you can increase your ground clears. You can increase the number of arch you send to an arch rally or siege you send to a siege rally. A huge one. But in some cases, I'm not wearing all of this gear, but it is really nice to have to add those additional set bonuses. So you can kind of see here, choreo, obviously, full set of that sitting on my wall. Rurik for bosses. I don't generally prioritize that, although I'm using that on the secondary boss general. Reinforcing capacity, yeah, not so important for me. All these other sets are really good. This is actually a good set that I've considered applying some of my current tokens that I've got that I could open up these other two pieces. Giving you all troop attack is a nice one to have. Antonius, I have not finished this one. I did recently switch over some of the ground pieces that were on the general. I thought a better combo. Obviously the Heinz set, using that as my main set for Siege. I think that's the best combo. The Thebes set was originally set up on Arch. I modified that. I think I'm using the set bonuses across 3 different types now to give me overall better buffs. And then as well as on the Aztec, I'm using a couple of these pieces, but we can take a look at them quick. I don't know which is the easier way to look at them. Just go there. So my current gen, well, actually, let's go back. We'll look at wall gen. I am using Dewey here on the main wall gen. I've been focusing on a little bit just adding the additional stars to these pieces. It's obviously at my size, 23 bill. I'm going to be a target, especially in Chalons eventually. Now, being a K44, I'm not the first target generally, but I do want to survive and take those hits when I can, port swaps, other things. So I think it's really important to have a solid defense. All-stars, certainly, at my size. I will be a target that I want to make sure I've got high defense. So I am working on this set, as well as those flexible specialties. As many of those as I can get, I'm applying those. I would say I don't have all those as high as I've got over on Hefe. And I'm using Leo as my assistant general. You can see I've got some sub-generals that are fully ascended. This Gilgamesh is a huge one. I don't know how many people are using him on their subs, but you can see that 10th star adding that debuff of minus 50 to siege HP. That's a huge debuff in my opinion. Very good one to have and work on if you can get extra copies of him. I got Newt and Baldwin and Dion and Nordic Barbarian King, Darius, Hojo, Maurices, Mark Anthony, Amir, and then we got Jan. So yeah, that's kind of what that is. Now my arch setup or my range setup, you can see I'm using set bonuses for all troop defense. So I've got a couple of Thebes pieces. I've also got the Sasanian helmet and 2 of those pieces to add and use those set bonuses, as well as the Plantagenet set. I'm not a main rally setter. Normally I would have 4 pieces to get that rally capacity. We're not filling right now on Duca's size. I think that's ever improving, so that might be a thing in the future as I grow and do some more rally setting here. We'll see. We got capable setters though. We've Mime certainly top-notch setter, as well as Duke Chris. I did get the Gunther. Picked up Gunther in the last event. Same time I got that castle, so I had a number of tokens. Was able to open them up and fully ascend him. Really happy with this general. I'm also using Melisandre for my assistant. Oops. Yeah, and then Forkbeard. So Forkbeard, I just I had him dismantled for a time there. I was moving around some gear. I think I've got it up on this. I think I put it on Senate General. I was moving things around. So yeah, this is my set that I'm using on my ground gen. Again, 2-piece set bonuses, as well as the individual piece bonuses, I think are up. This is, as far as I know, the math I've done. I haven't done it recently, but this is how I had it set up on Hefe, and it's been working really well. So I'm going to continue to use this Aztec sword, Aztec chest, the boots, the gloves, that Antonion, and the helmet. So again, you can see all troop HP from Aztec is that set bonus. This set bonus gives you plus 30 to attack as well as HP, a huge bonus. You definitely want to have 2 pieces of that. And then 2 pieces of that Antonian. Give you defense and HP plus 12. So, yeah, that's kind of the setup there. I'm going to move to this new Frigg Assistant General for ground. Be rolling an additional 8% once I get the Covenant done. We can go look at that real quick. Assistant Generals, you can kind of look here. I'm using Forkbeard and Sushit, but we can add in the new general I just leveled up. Yeah, I gotta get rid of the ground attack. So that is something you got to factor in when you're changing these generals. You saw there the ground attack skill book that was added needs to be taken off. So again, the comparison isn't as exact on the numbers, but my opinion, changing to be able to get that additional Covenant 8% in the March size overrules, what few attack stats that I'm going to lose for losing that skill book. An argument can be made on both sides. I just think, especially as you get larger in your March size, your base March size, which I'll be rally spot 44. 8% of rally spot 44 is a lot bigger than a rally spot 40 or 41. I think that outweighs those additional attack percentages. Oh, I'm just reading chat again. Catherine Fletcher, my 184 billion alliance, second in the group, is against RSP. Not sure if anyone will help us. Yeah, that's just it's frustrating. I get it. I've been on the receiving end of that as far as alliance matchups, and yeah, that won't be fun for you. All I can say is try to get as many points as you can. So you can rank the highest you can and keep moving on. Yep, just bend over and breathe. Yeah, it's tough. yeah, it's sign up power. I think some of that's deceiving too, but obviously RSP is their sign up power is gonna be huge compared to your alliance. But in some cases it's not total size that matters. It's how many of those bigs show up, how many are playing. Maybe they have 100 K40s that are 8 billion, and you've got 10 that are K41s and they're 15 billion. You don't know how the actual people that get assigned in are playing, but typically those larger alliances are going to have enough big people in their rally team to match up with you and paint the floor with you. So especially RSP, they're definitely going to do that. Oh, not going to blow any smoke up your ass. Napoleon Prime. I also have his skin. I'm not sure why I don't have that on right now, but I've got his skin. Andre Messina. And I'm using Electra. I'm working on Agrippa, but I don't have enough copies of him to fully ascend him. I'll use Agrippa and Eleanor going forward once I get a few more copies of him. And then, as I mentioned, Gunther and Alessandra. So that's kind of the setup I'm using right now. Big siege, small siege. One thing I haven't worked on, and I will be filling up these slots. I've been lazy. I'll be doing my siege backup as well as a ground. Probably do an arch one as well. There's enough times where I'm raining and trying to join rallies that it's going to help out the team if I can get my reins moved around and also join the rallies at the same time. So I'll be doing that prior to Sunday's matchup. The other thing I noticed today or was told today, sounds like we got Chalons and Constantinople. Now I'm not convinced that this isn't going to get deleted. I just can't believe they're running 3 battlefields a week. I'm really hopeful that they actually can change this so that we don't have 3 a week. I like playing them, there's no doubt about it, but it's a time commitment. 2 hours a day at some of these times is difficult for a lot of people, so it feels like that's too much, and they haven't done this in the past, and maybe they're just trying to get more people pissed off or playing. I don't know. Maybe they figure more people can get wings because more people are focused on healing and challenge. I don't know what their logic would be, but well, I do. It probably just comes down to money at some point, right? Let's see, what else can we go through for you guys? Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun on this keep. I deal, like I said, once a hoe, always a hoe. I'm still poking in over there every once in a while. Not a lot going on. There's a number of folks that have quit and moved on. Number of folks have gone idle and just kind of waiting to see what happens with the server. I know they're still having fun over there. I've actually joined a few SVS rallies. But in general, good old Hef's just kind of sitting there taking up space, looking around and looking pretty. So, kind of sad, but is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of the setup. I mentioned before a rally spot. I did not focus on a rally spot. I got this keep started at K41, and I did keep push all the way to 44, as well as MA9, like I mentioned. So to me, that was the right thing to do for the team and the right thing to do for this account, based on what was already available. So now I'm sitting at K44. I'll sit there and beef. I'm going to get fat. And then as I get fat, I plan on upgrading this rally spot so I can add more of those fat troops with those fat buffs into my rallies and into my solos, into my reigns, all the things. But for now, I'm going to prioritize getting more troops so I can be more effective and longer in the battlefields without having to do any healing. So that's the strategy I'm looking at. Again, that's different for everyone. Other keeps that aren't spending as much, they're going to push troops first, which I don't think is a bad idea. I think all things equal, all things relatively equal, troop counts are more important than the buffs. Yes, I know it's when you're looking at 5 or 3,500 buffs, 3K buffs, even 2,500 buffs. I'm not saying it compares to a 1,500 buff or something, but you obviously got to work on your buffs there. But I would say most K40s, K41s, you can, get as much of that MA5, MA6 as you can done. And you're having trouble getting to K42, having trouble with 43 and 44. I wouldn't worry so much about getting the keep size. I would worry about getting your layers done. I would worry about getting your joining layers done. Yeah, you want to get a nice layer of T15s if you can, but honestly, the T15s to me aren't as important as getting those 13s and 12s so you can join more rallies. And frankly, they're going to defend as well too. So you might get rallied a big siege rally and take out your top siege and most of your 13s. But if you have a big enough 13 layer, they're going to have to siege rally you again. I mean, that's all the better for your team to get more siege reigns in you, take more points from them. There's just a lot of reasons to have more troops. The buffs certainly matter, and I just assume that you're doing the best you can with the buffs and the attack scrolls that you got. So I would say most people should be pushing power for troop counts as opposed to keep pushing. But in my situation, I think given where I was at with my buffs, my attack scroll count, and everything, I was able to roll through MA7, MA8, and max those out. So I am maxed at MA8, and I've spent, I think, 100k attack scrolls in MA9, which is, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way through. So MA9's a beast to try to finish up, but I got a number of those things. Somebody was asking about dragons. What do I got to fix on my dragon? Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I think I did. Oh, no, I didn't put the dragon on. Thank you. Good girl. Must be watching close. Always nice to have your sperm dragon on your main ground gen. Thank you. I think I could also add my Norway Ridge back to a sub. I like having that on the sub for the debuff. Who do I put him on? Yeah, I'm still running my old keep. It's basically sitting idle. Mimer, I had him on Senate because I was moving some stuff around. I was in midst of moving things around, so come on, give me a break. Although I say that, and I did join Battlefield, I think I was 3/4 of the way through, and I had Gunther. I was so excited to use Gunther, but I decided that I'd use him without a dragon and without any gear. I thought I just forgot the dragon for a while, and then I opened him up. I'm like, probably should have moved the gear off of him before I put that gen in the Senate. So he's not wrong. I can be a little forgetful, but when it comes crunch time and it's Chalons or All Stars, don't worry, I got you. I'll focus. Let's stick it out here. All right, generals, dragons, the almighty dragons. So Norway Ridge 15, Thebes 15, Nidog 15, Ladon 15, Sperm Dragon 15, Kochian, or Kiki, some like to call him. Good old Ziz Pink, I just got that one to 15. Now this one, people are saying, why don't you have that on the wall, Hef? What's... Or Mr. Big? Well, what I did do was I got the final skill to 60. This one is the almighty heal, so you can heal 20% of your wounded troops that are in the hospital, and then also add your healing after that. We'll add 40%. Now, you notice these talents, right? We all look at these talents. These are great talents. This is a great wall general dragon, but I think it's going to be a little while before I convert over to using it. I will use it for the heals, but this dragon being maxed on all its talents, yeah, this is going to take a while to upgrade that. Now, that's also in the shadow of all these other dragons that I've got to add additional talents to, but this dragon being maxed, it's going to be staying on the wall for a while. I will be looking at a little closer at these talents. I haven't focused on it too much other than to do a few things here and there that I had to switch out. There was some that were, you know, using defense as opposed to, you know, attack stats or HP in some cases. Anyway, I switched out some talents that I thought were more appropriate for the dragon. So, but yeah, so I'm looking at, you know, what is it that I want to do. March size capacity here for this ground dragon obviously is something that's going to be a priority. But honestly, I think the priority will be on Ziz, or Kiki, I mean, because of the number of siege attacks we do, siege rallies we do. Again, more of a battlefield-focused guy, more of a team, whether that's in All-Stars or in Chalons. You know, we're doing so many siege rallies, siege being so important for reigning and other things. This is really one of my priorities that I'm working on, given that this wall dragon is maxed. Siege will be my next priority. The range is looking really good already. The third talent's not maxed. So I kind of look between third talents and first talents, and in some cases, like here on the ground general, that second talent. But generally, those first talents are take priority over the third talents. But you can see I maximized as many third talents as I could. Again, I have a priority order that I use there, and that can change depending on who you are and how you play as a player. But I really looked at, and as you can see here, some of these are at 40 and not at 60, and that's okay. That's still really good. But for some of those, I'm working on that third talent, and in the case of the Siege Dragon, I'm working on both. Now that I got that third talent up, so all troop HP, and then I'll be working on Siege and Siege HP, and then eventually this probably will take second priority to another dragon's first talent, if that makes sense. Yes. Yeah, that Thebes dragon is pretty huge. Yeah, so refines there. You know, I've thought about some changes there. I do have some refining work to do as well on some of the gear pieces that are on the wall. There was a bunch of attack, ranged attack. I might switch a few of those to siege. I'm slowly working on that, but I had a number of new pieces on the ground general that I had to switch out, so I got those sorted out. So again, it's just moving on in the priorities, moving down the list. Yeah, that's kind of the keep there. It's kind of Chalons. On the wall, question is, you like siege attack on the wall? I mean, siege attack is the easiest thing to debuff, so you could argue no. But yeah, I do like siege attack on the wall. Would I take it over HP? Probably not. In these cases, I don't specifically remember when these were done. But again, once you get a 19.9, once you get a 19.8, I just kept it. I think was kind of the theory. And again, you got to look at the way you've refined your gear. So again, same reason you might have not want to spend all the gems on refining that gear perfectly. You might make up for it on this wall dragon. And yeah, later you might come back to it and want to change it, but it all comes down to gems. It all comes down to refining stones. The other thing I had to do was advance refine a bunch of gear that wasn't being used. So I'm catching that back up. So there's a number of buffs that are, still available to me that I'm not currently utilizing, only because I haven't finished the advanced refining. And I think an example of that would be like here, the advanced refining on my main ground sword is only 12. Only. I'm not saying that's bad, but in a lot of cases, people have been working on this one for a long time. I've seen 50s, 60s. I think it goes up to 80. I just don't know. So, yeah, I like this one as well. I'm using on my Arch Gen, and it's level 10. So I'm catching some of these up, and you can see I've only got 91k refining stones. Those go pretty quick as you're working on these. A lot of great pieces as well. The choreo gear is up around 30. My ranged gear for the most part is pretty high, 30s. And even though it's only the stuff I'm using is these two pieces right now, those I've continued to work on. But yeah, some directed efforts on getting some of this gear switched around and utilized, I think, was one of the first tasks. So Demetrius says, check your messages. Where do you want me to check my messages? Maybe my line. Updating messages. Oh yeah, I think that's about it for review. Any other questions on the keep or Chalons? Sunday morning, we'll be rolling. I really hope we don't have. I mean, I'd love playing with you guys all the time, but I really hope we don't have Battlefield tomorrow. Need a day off. Need a break. So. Let's go take a look. Somebody was asking me what's. So. Here he is. Not even in the hive. He's having trouble finding out where to land, apparently. Still 52.8, so nobody's smashing him. Throne got conquered last week. I think that's the third time in recent days. Not much you can do. They're showing up with multiple K44s and big rally teams, and our numbers are dwindling here. Still a lot of active players. I'm not saying it's dead and gone, but there's only a couple of folks that are real active. Rally team size is getting pretty small. And honestly, I'm just more of a hindrance when joining battlefields and other things. The matchups are just getting out of hand. And, people are, the matchups are just bigger when I join the battlefield. So it's just, I'm not doing anybody any favors by adding myself and not being able to play. So, yeah, they're still a great group. Honestly, my my first true love, I should say. They great team, good group of people. Just not as active as they've been, and a lot of people are changing. So, I'm hoping to get back to them at some point and help them out as I can. And certainly, as there's things I need to do or things they need me to help them out with, I'm always there for them. So, anyway, that's that. What else was I going to show you today? Yeah, I was going to go through more of those spirit beasts, but I think it's going to take more time. I'm not sure it's really stream worthy. As well as applying some of those Glory Golden Twigs and Merit Jades, spending those over on the Senate are going to be important. Prioritizing some of the generals that I'm going to add stars to. In some cases, I've added stars to generals I've won't ever use as backup gens. But as you can see here, some of these gens I'll be pulling out to use as backups. And so I'll have to throw some, like Patronus here, I'll probably use as a siege backup gen. Alexander might come out. Actually, I'll probably use Legion. Oh yeah. I still have to yeah. We've been pushing through that. I got one more level of that to do. And then SVS, I just got to get those 2 billions. The last SVS is the one where I got the last one there. The Arch one opened up. That was another 1 billion SVS week. Had a real close SVS last week, and we were able to pull ahead towards the end, but it was kind of a back and forth. And then we were able to extend the gap as a server and won that one big, so that was fun. Well, I think I'm gonna log out here and do some bossing, get those pans rolling so I can get some more speed ups as I'm working on research, working on that rally spot, and then also obviously working on those troops that I need to build. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off here. Again, thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are over 1,000 subscribers, sorry, which is a huge thing for me. That was a lot of fun to reach that goal. Always just here having fun and enjoying the game and enjoying the community. So I look forward to having more of you on stream as we're doing battlefields. Tuning in for Chalons. I will be streaming for Evony for the Chalons games matches coming up in June. Those 3 matches, there are 2 weeks of the 3 matches. I'll be streaming those, whether that's as a participant, let's hope we can get all the way through, or as a observer. So try to bring you some of that action and see it from my perspective, from the HMB team perspective. Always a lot of fun with that group. If you've gone back and seen any of our streams, always a lively team. Usually something going on that's entertaining. So hopefully you guys can tune in and watch us there. So, and we'll see about streaming tomorrow. I'll definitely be streaming on Sunday. Some more Battlefield action. So anyway, I'm going to leave it with that. Thanks everybody joining the chat and asking questions. Monitoring my dragons and making sure I got things set up right. I'm sure there's more things I got to click on, but sometimes I miss those details. So it's always helpful when people are helpful. So anyway, that's Mr. Big El Hefe tuning out here. We'll see you on the next stream.